What's good, cousins, and welcome back again on another episode. Thank you all so much for joining. And if you're joining for the very first time, welcome to the OGs. Thank you so much for your constant support. After the death of over 20,000 people, the UN has finally called for a ceasefire. Remember that this would have happened a few days ago. If the United States did not veto the vote, this ceasefire would have happened a few days ago. This report shows that 153 countries voted for a ceasefire and 10 voted against a ceasefire. So even with all those things that these people have been going through, there are still some countries voting against a ceasefire. We already know the country that topped the list to be Israel, and if you can just imagine why these people are voting for a ceasefire, you should know that they have a connection with a particular country. So it's not really new, but people are talking about this, and without wasting much time, let me just roll the clip.
The UN General Assembly recently called for a ceasefire, and 153 countries were in favor to call for the ceasefire, and some of those countries, as mentioned, is Canada, Australia, and New Zealand. Let's not forget that this bill was vetoed a couple of days ago by America 2 consecutive times until it reached the General Assembly, which then gained the support of all of the other countries that took part in signing this ceasefire bill. And you're probably wondering, what does this bill do? Well, if 153 countries is calling for a ceasefire because, again, of the excessive bombing and the mistreatment that's currently been happening within Palestine that has resulted to 18,000 people dead, then it just shows that Israel has lost support of the international countries that has shared their alliance since they started this war. Because the people collectively in different parts of the world are waking up to the current genocide that's happening within Palestine. And yes, the petition, the protest are working. And this war is no longer one-sided, and we're seeing these people for who they truly are. And yes, this ceasefire immediately calls for the release of hostages on both sides, both by Hamas and Israel, and calls for both of these parties to stop the immediate bombing and killings of innocent people. I'm not sure why it took 2 months for this to happen, but it's 2 months too late because 18,000 people are dead.
Finally, Canada called for a ceasefire. If you've seen the news, yesterday Canada voted in the UN for a ceasefire. They only waited for 66 days. They only waited for 23,000 civilians to be killed. They only waited for 10,000 children to die before they could call for a ceasefire. Now, why did they wait all this time? Why didn't they call for it before? And by the way, I know for a fact that they knew that they were going to call for a ceasefire eventually. More than a month ago, they knew they were going to call for a ceasefire. But they waited. They waited 66 days. Why did they wait so long? Let me tell you why they waited so long. If they called for a ceasefire after we first asked for it, on day one when we were asking for a ceasefire, if they called for it then they know that you're going to start calling for new things. You're going to start pushing for more. They don't want you to push for more. They want you to expend so much effort and time and energy and protests for 66 days before they call for a ceasefire. So that at that point, you feel like you accomplished something so great that you stop working and you stop pushing. We got to keep pushing. We got to push for them to condemn the specific things that are happening, that journalists are recording, that human rights organizations are recording, that are happening in Gaza. We need them to reevaluate their relationship with Israel when it states explicitly that there will not be a state for the Palestinians. We need to push them on these matters. We can't stop pushing. Keep pushing. Don't let this strategy of delaying a call for a ceasefire to work. We have to keep pushing every single day.
I need y'all to look at this list next year in 2024 when you're traveling, and any country that voted against and any country that abstained should not be countries that you're traveling to. Use this as your travel destination list from now on. So like Italy, the little bitch abstained, so don't go there. Paraguay, I don't know what's up with them, but they voted against. Argentina, you got some issues. Germany, we know you have some weird issues. I'm surprised they didn't actually vote against it. The Netherlands, y'all have your own issues to worry about, so I'm gonna let y'all be. I don't plan on ever visiting though. And y'all will notice like all the countries that voted against it is like all the little countries that the United States like funds, so they don't want to lose their funding. Obviously, now they're gonna be like, the whole world is racist against us. They're all being anti-Semitic. Weirdos.
What do you guys think about those stitches? I really love the point that second stitch that man made, saying they know they are going to call for a ceasefire, But they didn't call for a ceasefire immediately because they don't want people to continue to ask. Because once they ask and they do that immediately, people are going to come back to ask for more, making it seem like this effort that people are putting out there is nothing. We know they see it all, we know they feel it all, but they don't want to feel like the people have so much control as well. And this is the reason why they need to push. They need to wait for 66 days, and after the loss of 23,000 people, they finally agree and vote for a ceasefire. We know they know what they are doing. It's almost like that man literally spoke the mind of so many people. They know at some point they are going to vote for a ceasefire, but they felt it was okay to wait for so long, and so many lives lost in the process, and now they are calling for a ceasefire. That's the bare minimum that the people in Gaza need, and this is the reason why we need to continue to speak up. This is the reason why we need to continue to talk about these things, because it could literally be another country, another time. We know how these people rule. And to the lady telling people to pay attention to this country that voted against the ceasefire, that they should not go there, that lady was right on point, because there were so many comments like that, like, pay attention to these countries that are voting against the ceasefire. They already lost humanity, so don't go there thinking they are going to treat you any right. If they can see kids, people dying every single day, and still say, you know what, they don't need to stop, they have to continue to kill them, know that when you go to those countries, don't expect anything less. Let me hear your thoughts in the comment section. Thank you all so much for joining, and if you have not subscribed, please subscribe before you go and turn your bell notification on, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye, and I love you guys.